Right now is a scary time because the people who've come in the last 3 or 4 years have never experienced like '01, '07. Like they don't know what a real crash is. They think what just happened with when like just the correction, like what when stuff went 30x, that wasn't normal to begin with. So when it went 30x and then came back down to 10 or 15x, it really is just like settling in. They haven't experienced what a lot of us have been in, like what a real crash feels like. So it's been really easy to make money the last couple of years. Let's face it. Like everybody, if you bought 3 years ago, like you've made a killing, and everyone's an expert now. So my advice is the start with cheaper stuff because cheaper stuff is always easier to get out of. Like I mean I've seen, and there's so much manipulation going on with these bigger cards. Like before the national, people will jack stuff to the moon and then like not pay, and then they'll use that as comps. It's much harder to do that with $5 and $10 stuff. Also, the margins, like it's way easier to buy something for $10 and flip it for 20 than it is to buy something for 30,000 and flip it for 60,000. So I would just like as you're learning, focus on the cheaper stuff. It's so much easier to make money. They won't be like these crazy impressive like holy shit, look at me type numbers, but your backlog, your stop loss is way safer. Like
One
way
of the
safer.
things Cage got a little backlash, but like I agree with it, is in a boom, everything goes up, right? But like, remember when you brought up, guys, when there's a correction, F1, non-sport, all of these like ancillary markets, even soccer, they're not going to last, right? And we have seen it really good for. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I apologize. We have it really good for quite a few 3 years now. Cage, something I want to ask you this question because you're a gambler, and I think there's a big beef on Instagram, right? It's collectors versus investors or flippers. There's like that Instagram drama, but I think it's collectors versus gamblers, right? Like a lot of the people in this space, they do like to speculate. It's part of the fun to bet on your guy and be right. What's like the right kind of like? Is it
But you
50-50? Is it 80-20?
but you got to understand why the collectors are upset. Like I totally understand why they're
I
upset.
don't understand.
Like so, if you're okay, it's like if you're a collector, and so I have it in three different buckets. Like you have like the purest collector that like they just want what they want, and they want prices to stay low so they can complete. And then you have the collector slash investor who like they want what they want, but they also like the fact that it can go up and make them money too. And then you have the guy that comes in that like could give two shits about anything other than making money. So the pure collector, when all these numbers are going crazy and they're looking at a card that maybe they thought was going to stay at $1,000 and they just haven't got it, and all of a sudden now that card's 20,000, it's unobtainable. Like that's super frustrating as the pure collector. That's something that you're like just maybe kick the can down the road, like oh yeah, I'll get that Jordan scoring can, whatever. I'll get it, and then all of a sudden all this money's coming in, and the collectors generally know more than the new money coming in. So I can relate to that. It's not. I don't know. I don't agree with it, but I can at least appreciate that the true collector is. That's why they're frustrated.
Do you think the true collectors don't care about value at all? They make money on the side, and this is just hobby and fun.
Well, as I said, I broke it into three categories. Like true like collector. I think the majority of people are collectors slash investors. Like yes. That they definitely like that's the main like 75-80%. But there are 10% of the people, which generally are a lot of the haters. Like the haters are the true collectors, and I empathize with them because I understand where they're coming from. I don't agree with them because I'm personally a collector investor. Like I love what I have, but I also like the fact that it's made me money and all that. But I'm also not just strictly an investor that doesn't care at all. Like I love what the cards, but I don't agree with the pure collector.
I can see, and I don't want this to happen. And guys, I take heat for it all the time, but I try to say what I'm thinking, and I think that's part of why some of the folks who listen to us love the show. But that 10% who are collectors who don't care about the prices and they just they just want to collect what they want to collect. I think a lot of them are here now, right? And they have big mouths and they talk a big game about how they're a collector. And Jason, you're right. They would have liked to have bought that card they were searching for $1,000, and now it's $20. But if they are these collectors, they're the ones who were here before. Then all of their collection, which was those $1,000 cards, they're all worth $20. So they can get this other 20 card now because they have everything else of theirs has 10x, 20x, you name it, because they've collected. So they'll find a way to do it. But here's the real test of those collectors, that 10%. Keep talking your smack. Keep talking that game. You know, keep the stories up, all right? Keep putting your face out there with little stupid circles on them, right? Keep trying to govern what the right type of person in the hobby is. And you will chase people away. And when you chase people away, you know what's going to happen? You cut the legs of the hobby out from under it, and the cards that you collected, the prices are going to come down. They are, because they're propped up on all the other cards, all the $5 and $10 cards you're talking about, all that stuff that people are building, all the breaking, all the other fun stuff. And when the prices come down, we'll see if they're really true collectors.
I agree 100%. And like, yeah, and the
We'll see
funny
how
thing
happy
is,
they are then.
right, and they collect what they want to collect, and they're the first people to knock something that they don't collect that they don't understand. Like, there's definitely stuff out there that I think is like super goofy and weird, and like I personally would never collect it, and you could almost like make fun of it. But I understand, like, there's a market for everything. So like, I just like laugh it off and say, yeah, collect whatever you want. But the true haters are like, if it's not collecting what they want, they just freak out on someone and like it's some big scam.